scripture. Isaiah 43:1. But now this is what the Lord says. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name, and you are mine. I love that because no matter what Satan has for me, I still belong to God. So to start from the beginning, 24 years ago, here in Dallas, Texas, I was transferring from Oklahoma to Texas, and I was going to study law enforcement. I met a guy at a bar with a group of my girlfriends, and he was cute. And so he was wearing a Marine uniform, and I thought he really was a Marine. He bought his uniform at an Army surplus store. Within 2 weeks, he was already telling me he loves me, he wants to be with me. I was head over heels. But let me give you a little background. I grew up with abuse. I was born in South Korea, and I was born with an STD. So when young girls are having sex and not thinking about the repercussion of their infant child that's in their stomach, that happened to me. And I speak in high schools and junior high to girls and boys about the effects of what happens to a baby. However, God watched over me because babies like me actually don't live to 1 year old. 2, we're supposed to be legally blind. We're not supposed to have fingers and toes. We're supposed to have cleft lip. Hold on, my lips look nice. Thank God. Literally. And the doctors actually said I was born 4 pounds. And the doctor says, you know what, we need to get rid of her. You go and have another baby. My uncle lived in Dallas, Texas. He was like the generic version of JR from the TV series Dallas. If y'all remember the 80s Dallas. So my uncle had the cowboy hat, the Bronco horns on his pretend Cadillac. So that was him. So my dad called my uncle in Dallas, Texas, and says, they're going to get rid of my baby girl. And my uncle says, well, you better tell them Koreans to step away from my little niece, or they're going to have a Texas boot up the butt. So he flew out to Korea, put me under the United States military health, so that way if they did kill me, it would be considered murder instead of a cultural sacrifice. So when I think about my life and the things I went through and the things I should have gone to, I think about the scripture, I apologize, the 5 loaves, 2 fish and 5 loaves. When Jesus told the disciples to go out and cast nets, and they're like, do you realize how many fish we have? Do you realize how many bread we have? Or we got to feed all these 1,000 people? To their vision, it was unlikely. To the vision of these doctors, it was unlikely for me to live. It was unlikely for me to survive. Then at 3 years old, I was raped, all the way till I was 6 years old. I was beaten every day at home. My mother would always tell me, if I said, guess what, I made an A on my report card, my mom says, no, somebody was feeling pity, so that's why they gave you an A. No matter what I did, I wasn't good enough. And because I was living in a small town in Oklahoma, there wasn't a lot of Asians around. And so I felt isolated. And I went to an all-white school, so I didn't know any racial slurs. They're like, ooh, you're Asian, you can't sit with me. So I already felt isolated. I was being beaten at home. I was being sexually abused at school. None of the kids wanted to hang out with me because I was weird or odd or different. And I remember when I was 12, I said, you know what? I wanted my mom to stop hitting me because she was beating me. And I said, I want to run away. My mom grabbed my duffel bag. She said, okay, threw my clothes out, get out. We lived on 7 acres of land. My next door neighbor was a water tower and a cow's butt. So, and I remember the CPS came because there was a stereotype that Asian families don't go through any problems, that we're very cliquish, that we protect each other. I wish. So when the social worker came to me, she said, Chong, what you need to do is you need to go home and apologize to your mama. And I looked at her and I said, Sharon, if you send me home, I'm going to commit suicide. So I got into the system. But little did I know that they told me, oh, now you're in the system. How old are you? I'm 12. By the time you're 14, you'll be pregnant. By the time you're 16, you'll be on drugs. By the time you're 18, you'll be incarcerated or dead. Guess what? When I was 18, I was not pregnant. I was not on drugs. And I was not incarcerated or dead. My only mistake was when I fell in love with the wrong man. Because he said I was beautiful. Because I never heard that from my mom. I never heard that from friends. I never heard that even from teachers. They would say, oh, you're so ugly. I would feel sorry for whoever wants to fall in love with you. So it does hurt. Now, I will tell you this. When I was trafficked, I didn't even know what trafficking was. But I was forced into prostitution. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm a prostitute. I'm damaged. There's no way to turn around. So I got in from 1994 through 1997. And by the time I was in it, I had to get out of the day-to-day abuse that, how should I put it? They kidnapped me, they beat me, they trained me, and I escaped. But while they were training me, yes, at one point, I did become a female trafficker. It was the only way to survive, so I wouldn't die. But here's the crazy part. I did not know that God was watching me through that whole time. Because I remember, I grew up in church, but I grew up in a Catholic church where I was told that I was the demon child. I was a bad kid. Nobody understood me. The nuns couldn't see me. I get kicked out of school because I got bullied a lot. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, God doesn't love me. Because if he did, why would I be here? What I didn't know is that God had a purpose for me. Amen. Because during that time when I was being trafficked, I said, I hate you, God. I hate you. And if they kill me, just leave my soul alone. I don't want to be with you. And I remember sliding down against the wall, holding my knee. And I remember one of the traffickers, we were held in a warehouse unit on an abandoned warehouse on the Indian reservation. That's why the FBI couldn't touch us, because we were on a reservation. So when one of the traffickers pulled up the door so the warehouse trucks could pull in, there was this blue butterfly. To this day, I still interpret that was God sending me a message. Because when I saw that blue butterfly landing on my finger, I forgot in that 1 3-second moment, or whether it was 5 seconds, I forgot I was trafficked. I forgot that I was enslaved. And in that moment, I could hear God's voice saying, everything will be okay. And I was in tears. And that's when the strategy of my escape started. And so I felt like God was saying, you gotta be a madam. I gotta be a what? You want me to be a female trafficker? Are you crazy? Okay, God, now I know you're really crazy. But what I didn't realize, from everything that I knew about their infrastructure and their illicit trade, now I train FBIs. I go and speak in colleges. I had a mom that flew in all the way from Shreveport, Louisiana for her daughter's 12th birthday. She said, girl, I want you to tell my daughter everything. I want her to know everything about what boys are telling her, what girls are telling her. Even girlfriends will pimp you out. Girl, let's go to a party. Oh, guess what? Cardi B is playing in Dallas. Let's go. Oh, but my mom, girl, I got tickets for you. I got a man that got us together. Before she even says her daddy, make sure it's her biological father. And just because he is, here's another thing I just tell parents. Check your kids' parents. Because not every parent shares the same values and morals that you do.
Amen.
So I got to speak at a juvenile detention center, and I saw the boys, and there were 3 speakers. There was a pastor, a cop, and me. I was the third one speaking. When the cop was talking, he said, you got 3 felonies, and then you're out. The boys were sitting there yawning, didn't even pay attention. The pastor says, this is not right for you. What's wrong with you? Why can't you do things right? This is not meant for you. I watched the boys, they were sitting there. So by the time I got up, I said, guess what? The assets that was given to you on the street is a God-given asset. But guess what? The street is oil. What God gave you is holy water, and it doesn't mix. So this kid stood up and he said, but there's drugs everywhere, then go be a pharmaceutical. Want to be a pimp? Go be an OBGYN. I'm sure you'll see a lot of naked ladies that you didn't want to see. And I said, want to be a hustler? Go into Wall Street. Want to be rich? Then go give your heart to other people. And I said, everything that is given to you is given from God. Satan didn't make you. Satan didn't give you these opportunities. God did. What Satan did is try to pull you away from that gift to spill it in oil, because only oil can contaminate your purpose. And only God can redeem you from that purpose. Because like I said, when I was in Madden, I didn't think there was anything for me. But when I escaped, I didn't know where to go. This was in 1997. Nobody knew what human trafficking was. I had stiletto heels and a lingerie dress. I didn't know where to go, and guess what? I was in Nevada. I was running away. I went to a payphone, and I looked up. It says Christian Homes of Abilene, Texas. And I was thinking, well, I'm not a Christian, but they do have a maternity home. I was pregnant with a child that my trafficker had raped me. I wanted to abort, but something told me I shouldn't. So I went to a maternity home. I had church ladies that didn't know anything about me, didn't hesitate, didn't ask me what I've been. They see my clothing, they didn't judge me. I didn't even feel that, look at her, what's she wearing? It was none of that. They hugged me, they loved on me, and I was like, who are these Christian women? I've never seen these type. And so when they brought me to Abilene, I remember this one house mom, she said, welcome, we're Christian homes. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not a Christian, but you guys do take pregnant women, right? She goes, yes. Oh, you guys are really happy seeing pregnant women. Okay. But when I had my blood test, the doctor says, now you need to have an abortion. And I said, no. And the adoption agency actually said, if the child becomes disabled, we cannot keep it because all the parents want perfect babies. Then I said, then I'm not placing it because I'm disabled myself and I know what it's like. My child will not be in a state home. But through the grace of God, I found that I was having a healthy baby girl. So from that point on, I vowed to myself to do things right. So in 2001, I got clean from cocaine, meth, and crack cocaine. I've been clean for 19 years. We launched a film about me called Eden with Bo Bridges and Jamie Chung. Jamie Chung played in Hangover 2. I don't know any other violent comedy that she has in. But she played me, and I'm now working on writing a scripted TV series, kind of like Criminal Minds. But here's the best part. Every episode of the TV series I've written all has scriptures. And it's called Every 40 Seconds, because people don't realize in the United States today, every 40 seconds, a child goes missing. 1 in every 6 child is falling into human trafficking. And sex trafficking is not one of them. It's also labor trafficking. It's also organ trafficking. There are kids being hit by a car, counted as an accident, but you don't know what's going on with their body. There's also identity theft. I have my cards in the back. So if you want to learn more about human trafficking, I will come to your church. I will come to your community. I will speak for free. Because to me, the importance of knowledge is important. When I hear parents that says, oh girl, my daughter's not going anywhere, but she's 13. But I can teach you how to equip her. Because I came from a mom that wouldn't let me go anywhere. Guess what? When it came college time, I couldn't wait. I wanted to do anything and everything my mama told me not to do. So if we could equip our boys and girls today, while they're still at home, learn to educate our girls and boys. I did a podcast, it's on my Facebook page, and all my information is on my card when I talk about Facebook. What you post on your Facebook is what a predator will look at too. Please do not post your kid's picture on your profile or cover of it. That's the first thing that predators look for. And last, my name has been honored to be on the Rosa Parks in honor of Rosa Parks in Montgomery, Alabama. When this TV series get launched, right now we're running a GoFundMe campaign to launch the TV series, and 20% of our proceeds that we make from the TV series will be given back to ministries and organizations that help empower our youth, boys and girls, and also aged out foster kids, because they have no idea once they hit 18 to 26. So I thank you so much for having me, and I'm sorry I couldn't talk about this a little bit more, but my information is in the back. I'm selling my books for $15, and 20% of my books also goes to nonprofits as well. Thank you so much.
So much, Kim. You know, we can say, wow, that was heavy, but look at the beauty that came from all of that. That's beautiful. A special thank you for Miss Lynette Fletcher and Navarro Whitehead for the small bites that you had. They're probably gone now, but weren't they great?